This is me, age 2. From a young age, I've always had a strange fascination with toilets. I would lie to my parents about needing the loo, just so I could go snooping around someone's house to find their bathroom. However, as I've grown older, I've realised it's not just me with this strange obsession. When eating out with friends, we often make comments when a restaurant has nice toilets. It seems people love sharing pictures on social media of the best bathrooms around. I'm on a journey to discover why as a nation we have a serious love of loos. I want to find out the history of toilets, hear from the designers of bathrooms, the people petitioning for gender-neutral toilets, and also I want to hear from the public and get them to share some of their personal loo experiences. I'm also going on perhaps the most exciting trip of my life, where I will try and discover the best toilets in Manchester. So come on, let's find out why we truly are a nation of loo lovers. I decided to begin my journey by looking at a brief history of the toilet. In the Roman times, going to the toilet was seen as a social event. They would meet up with friends and catch up on the news whilst going to the toilet and wiping themselves with a sponge. This can be seen as similar to today, as women often go to the toilet with their friends and chat and gossip. In the medieval times, people used potties, which they would simply throw out of the window and into the streets. Richer people would use a garderobe, which suspended their waist over a moat. In the Victorian and Edwardian times, the population of Britain increased and the amount of toilets did not match. Therefore, sewerage was all over the streets and in the rivers. This led to many deaths due to waterborne diseases. To stop this, the government commissioned the construction of sewers in London, which saved many lives. In 1861, Thomas Crapper was hired to construct lavatories in several royal places. These toilets are very much like the ones we use now. After exploring a brief history of toilets, it seems times have changed, so I decided to ask the public what makes a great modern toilet.
Good quality toilet roll. I like mirror, nice big mirror, and smelly things makes you smell nice.
Floor-to-ceiling doors and good lighting for selfies.
I like it when a toilet has a good overall aesthetic, so it's just pleasing when you go in, so it looks different.
I love a good hand soap and a good hand lotion and those really powerful Dyson hand dryers.
After hearing what people think makes a great modern toilet, I decided to go and check some out. My first stop was the Botanist in Didsbury, which was designed by a company called Imagineering Global. The word botanist means an expert in the scientific study of plants. As you can see, the Botanist bathrooms are based on the image of gardening and a potting shed. With the wooden mirrors and the bathroom doors, you feel you've stepped into a gardener's world. There are flowers and plants all over the restaurant and you feel you're sat in a secret garden. Bathrooms can now be seen as a wonderful added treasure to a restaurant. However, when researching bathrooms, the concept of gender-neutral toilets seemed to be a keen topic of discussion. I decided to go and talk to John, who has made many changes relating to bathrooms at Salford University.
So my name's John Connor-Lyons. I'm the Vice President and Arts and Media Officer here at the University of Salford Students' Union. I was elected in March with about 880 votes. So I represent about 4,000 students in the Arts and Media School, but as a Vice President I represent every student, which is about 23,000 students here at Salford. So one of the things that I did in my job, or that I've been working towards, is implementing gender-neutral toilets. So here in the Students' Union building, we opened a gender-neutral toilet in September. We found a toilet that wasn't really being used and decided this would be a perfect facility. One of the things that I've worked with the university on is this toilet working group committee, which sounds quite funny. And that's been meeting for about 4 years. And this year I've managed to sort of work our way up in sort of the university committees and higher up committees and in their council to convince them to say yes to implementing gender neutral toilets across a number of different buildings. One of the things that sort of inspired me to do this was just speaking to students, starting at effects, understanding that you know, some students are having to travel home to go to the toilet because they don't feel safe using a male or female toilet, even if, you know, some students might think, oh, I should use those toilets, but sometimes the public can react hostile and they've experienced that. The university union, the UCU, which represents sort of staff members, lecturers, that sort of thing, has been cautious about implementing them just because, you know, one of their major arguments was having these safe spaces for staff members. So some other things that we've been doing around bathrooms is introducing free sanitary products in the gender neutral and female bathrooms. So our sanitary product tree, which we have upstairs in the reception, is to raise awareness of what we're doing here in the Students' Union, giving out free sanitary products. But it's also to highlight our long-term campaign to make sanitary products free in every bathroom across 3 campuses here at the University of Salford. But in addition to this, it's also to raise awareness of the period poverty as a whole. We're taking in donations for Greater Manchester women who are homeless. The university didn't have any sort of funding to renovate these bathrooms. So we're lobbying the university to introduce this into next year's budget so we can renovate these bathrooms and make sure that they are best practice and they are a very good standard.
It is clear that gender-neutral toilets may be something everyone needs to consider. I found it interesting that John mentioned toilets can be seen as a safe place for women, which may be why people are hesitant to implement these toilet changes. I decided to ask the public what they thought.
I always run to the toilet when I need a cheeky cry or just a bit of peace away from it all.
When I work, I always go to the toilet for a little break. On a night out, I love to go into the toilets for a little gossip.
The next place I visited appeared to pick up on this idea of toilets being seen as a safe place for women. They dedicated a whole room to allow women to gossip, chat, and feel safe in. This place was called Artisan and was designed by Michelle Derbyshire. Before you get to the ladies' bathroom, there is a whole room called the Bitchin' Lounge, which is for women only. The designer of the bathroom said she wanted them to be chilled and edgy. Around the restaurant there is indoor herb gardens, concrete surrounds and art installations. The toilets are supposed to have an unfinished look with chipped wood, tattered ceilings and unpainted concrete. After seeing another set of amazing toilets, I decided to talk to Taylor, who has an interesting approach to toilets.
Hi, I'm Taylor and I'm a germaphobe. A germaphobe is somebody who's got an extreme fear of germs. I became a germaphobe when I think I went to uni. I started in a flat of 10 sharing 2 toilets and it was just a bit grim sometimes. Right, to avoid germs in the toilet, I will hover if I need to. If not, I will put toilet paper down and then sit on the toilet paper just in case, you don't know what's on the toilet. Well, they're always worse than a night out. Like, I hate when you go into a toilet and it's blocked up. I won't use a toilet that's blocked up. Even if the water's not risen, I just won't use it. Sometimes on nights out, you just find girls who just chuck their sanitary towels and stuff, but not use that. Another fear, if the toilet seat is down, like the lid, I won't even bother to open it because I don't even want to know what's inside. One of my favourite toilets, it's really random, it's Costa. Because in Costa, they have like a little spray, so you can spray it onto your tissue and then wipe the toilet seat, so you don't have to like sit on any of the germs. Like toilets that are just, they smell nice, they give you products. Good hand dryers, those horrible slow ones that you see in the train stations, they're just grim. A good lock on the door, nice soap, always nice soap.
It seems Taylor may behave different in public bathrooms to others. This made me question, is there toilet etiquette? Do we expect or behave differently when using public toilets?
So if you see a girl in a toilet and she's got toilet paper on her shoe, you definitely need to tell her because girls have to have each other's backs. I never mind going to the toilet by myself with a playsuit on because I always know that someone in there will help zip me up.
When you go to a urinal, don't look down at the person next to you.
It seems people do expect high standards and clean toilets. The next toilets I visited definitely achieved this. My next stop was Iberica in Spinningfields, which was designed by Lazaro Rosa Violan. The overall design was inspired from a typical Spanish bar from the neighbourhood that has all the life in a corner with the old and vintage items. Her intention was to recreate this mood. She used a lot of red colour, and this was a very important touch. Most of the Spanish bars have these colour tones. She believes communal toilets also give a kind of ambience and wanted to recreate this in her own. She wanted her toilets to move you, in a metaphorical sense. After visiting these glamorous toilets, I thought it would be fun to hear from someone who has a story about festival toilets, which are not so glamorous.
Hello, I'm Jamie. I spend a lot of time on toilets. So a few years ago I went to Leeds Fest in Leeds, and as a lot of people know with festival toilets, it can get a little bit nasty by the end of the weekend. So basically what happened was, it was right at the end of the weekend, so everyone's been eating badly, been staying up too late, all that kind of stuff. So I imagine the toilets were pretty full by that time. There was one specific bad incident. I was basically, my friend had gone to the toilet, I was waiting outside for it, and then this really rowdy group of lads started chanting and coming up to the toilet. And first we were looking and like, alright guys, what are you doing? And then they started rocking my friend's toilet that she was in. And at that point we were like, oh god, what are we going to do? There was only a couple of us there and it was like a group of like 10 of them. So we weren't going to be able to stop them even if we wanted to. And part of us didn't want to because we wanted to see what might happen, to be honest. And the rocking got more and more violent and eventually the toilet just fell straight over. And as you can imagine, as I said earlier, it was full. And my friend, she's tried to struggle to get out, but the toilet was on its side, so it was hard to open the door. And eventually she did, and she came out and she was completely covered in lots of sorts of things. My top tip, if you're at a festival and you need to go, but it's the end of the weekend, you think you could maybe hold it, try as hard as you can, because you don't want to get pushed over in the toilet.
After Jamie's story, I decided I needed to go and see some more amazing toilets to get the image of festival toilets out of my head. The next toilets I visited were Tycoon in Spinningfields. Tycoon was designed by a man named Jonathan. He got his inspiration from the people, the streets and the hustle and bustle of Thailand. All of the items in the restaurant are sourced from Thailand and they get them from jumble sales and markets. He wanted the restaurant and the toilets to represent the back streets of Thailand. He wanted the people to step into the restaurant and really feel like they were there. After seeing more amazing toilets, I decided I wanted to interview a designer. I went to the Pen and Pencil in Manchester's Northern Quarter to interview Dan, the owner.
Hi, I'm Dan Pollard, I'm the owner of the Pen and Pencil in Manchester's Northern Quarter. Here at the Pen and Pencil we've gone for a Mad Men type concept. So the kind of concept behind the bar, it's a link back to 1950s, 1960s New York, and so that explains the kind of the adverts and the paid like magazine cutouts that we've gone for in the toilets, because it's all linked back to kind of photography and journalism and design basically. So once I've come up with the idea behind it, I accumulated lots of copies of Rolling Stone, Playboy, FHM, GQ, Esquire, right from the 1960s, 1970s onwards. Just decided the best, most iconic, most striking pages from each one. Obviously I've needed hundreds of pages for the toilets. We get some really good feedback about the toilets. Yeah, I mean, things like TripAdvisor and Facebook reviews, we get a lot of feedback about the food, the drinks, but we did always want the toilet to be a talking point. We wanted them to be Instagrammable, you know, almost a bit of a selling point to the bar. We're just working on our toilets for site number 2, which is opening in May on Stevenson Square, quite close to here, and we're going for, the bar's going to be called Honey Trap Club. It's going to be kind of a Bellini, quite minimalist type feel, and we want the toilet to be a talking point again. So instead of kind of magazine articles, magazine covers, we're probably going for a bit more of a graffiti style in the toilets. So again, a bit of a different talking point, hopefully.
It was interesting to hear from Dan that his toilets are Instagrammable and are a talking point for the bar. I decided to go and check out somewhere that is very famous because it used to be a toilet. This is the Temple Bar. It used to be a public toilet, however it's been converted into one of Manchester's smallest bars. The intimate seating plans encourage a relaxed and sociable atmosphere. One of the reasons the bar is so popular is due to people being intrigued as to how they've managed to turn this public toilet into such a vibrant place. After seeing this amazing public toilet transformation, it is clear toilets are a hugely popular talking point for many people. I thought it'd be fun to hear from James, who has more of a nightmare story relating to toilets.
Hi, I'm James, I'm a student in Manchester. So basically, once being, a full-on day on the old drinky poos, and I went to the toilet in a Sainsbury's, thinking, it's going to be fine, just, have a little bit of a break. When suddenly, I was shocked with the no toilet roll situation. It was awful. Luckily, my friend was outside, but unfortunately, she was a girl. So, I had to call her up, be like, you're right, no toilet roll. She had to come in, there were several men in the toilet, and she had to place toilet roll under the cubicle at me. let's just say that after that it was drinks on me. I owed her big time.
I feel a useful tip we can learn from James's story is to always check there is toilet roll before you pick your cubicle. We've come to the end of my journey. I now realise that toilets can be seen as so much more than just a place to wee. I've realised going to the toilet is often a form of escape. It could be escaping from a busy shift in work, from an awkward conversation at the dinner table, or even somewhere to share and let out your emotions. It was also interesting to learn all about gender-neutral toilets. They can give people a sense of acceptance by simply just changing a sign on a bathroom door. Toilets are now also seen as a valuable asset to a business and people's homes. We now invest times into making bathrooms as amazing as the rest of the building. You see, there is an awful lot that happens in a toilet, and as humans we are forced by our bodies to just sit and relax for a couple of minutes, which may be why we have grown such a fondness to these places.